Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're looking at a true, absolute holiday centerpiece. We are breaking down a fantastic, totally foolproof guide to making the ultimate Christmas plum cake. And honestly, here is the absolute best part. This recipe is completely eggless, and you don't even need an oven to make it. No way, right? If you've ever felt intimidated by baking a traditional fruitcake, or maybe you thought you needed specialized equipment or super hard-to-find ingredients, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to take everyday stuff straight from your kitchen pantry and transform it into an incredibly soft, deeply flavorful cake that is literally bursting with juicy nuts in every single bite. So, grab your notepad, get comfortable, and let's bring that festive spirit right into your kitchen.
Now, building this seemingly complex culinary masterpiece is actually totally stress-free when we break it down into 5 really simple phases. We'll kick things off by prepping our juicy nuts, then we'll move on to a perfect caramel syrup, mix up our eggless batter, bake it in a pot, and finally reveal your completely spongy plum cake. All right, starting with phase 1, the prep of our juicy nuts. This is honestly where the sensory magic of this whole explainer really begins. Now, fruitcakes demand a genuinely massive volume of nuts and fruits. I mean, that's what gives them that signature dense, rich texture, right? We're combining finely chopped almonds and cashews alongside half a cup of black raisins and a really generous handful of golden raisins. And to give it that beautiful festive pop of color, we throw in green, orange, and red Tutti Frutti plus some muskmelon seeds for just a little subtle crunch. But here is the secret to the flavor. All of these beautiful ingredients are going straight into a bath of fresh orange juice. The orange juice basically acts as a plumping agent, letting the dried fruits just drink up all that bright citrusy liquid. But here's the catch. Time is absolutely critical at this stage. You need to cover this mixture and let those ingredients soak for a minimum of 1 to 2 hours. Actually, if you have the time to plan ahead, pushing that soak to 3 or 4 hours is even better. This waiting period is what allows the raisins and nuts to soak up the orange juice entirely. It releases this incredible deep flavor profile that's going to eventually infuse the entire cake. Moving right along to our second phase, the perfect caramel syrup. This step is exactly how the plum cake gets its signature rich, dark brown color completely naturally. Okay, let me slow down the pacing right here for a second because there is a super crucial safety secret to this phase. First, you take 2/3 of a cup of sugar and put it in a pan on medium to high heat. Do not add any water at this stage. Just let the heat do its thing. Over 2 to 3 minutes, you'll see the sugar start to melt and turn into this gorgeous dark brown liquid. Now for the critical safety warning, when you finally introduce water to thin this syrup out, you must step back and pour it in very, very carefully. The mixture is going to violently splash and sputter, so be careful. Once the water is safely in there, just let it boil for 1 single minute, turn off the heat, and set the whole thing aside to cool completely. So the excitement really builds as we enter phase 3, the eggless batter. Our foundational prep is done, and it's time to bring it all together. And this brilliantly illustrates how neatly we can organize our simple household items. In one bowl, we whisk together the wet ingredients, a 1/4 cup of milk, a 1/4 cup of oil, or butter if you want a richer taste, and a splash of vanilla essence. Then we just place a sieve right over the bowl for our dry ingredients, 1 full cup of Maida, or all-purpose flour, alongside 3 tablespoons of milk powder. Now, the milk powder is optional, but honestly, it is highly recommended if you want to elevate the taste. Before we take that sieve away, we've got one more crucial element. While technically optional, grinding together cardamom, clove, and cinnamon, and passing that spice mix through the sieve into your batter, well, that's what creates that unmistakable aromatic Christmas market flavor. It's the exact same spice profile you'd find in premium, store-bought festive cakes. Just whisk those dry ingredients into the wet mixture until there are absolutely no lumps. Now let's see how all of this builds into our final mixture. We take that beautifully dark, completely cooled caramel syrup and gradually whisk it right into the batter. Then we introduce the stars of the show, all those vibrant, orange juice-soaked nuts and fruits. Gently fold them in. At this point, your batter is going to look quite thick and incredibly rich. If you feel it's a bit too stiff to work with, no worries. You can adjust the consistency by folding in just a tiny splash of extra milk until it looks perfectly smooth and glossy. We place the sieve over the bowl one last time for our leavening agents, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and a pinch of salt. But listen up, here is the pro tip that will absolutely make or break your cake. You must activate these powders by pouring a tiny splash of water directly over them, right there in the sieve. You'll literally see them bubble up.
Once you mix this activated powder into your batter, the clock is officially ticking. You've got to pour the batter into your lined baking tin and start baking immediately. If you wait around, the activation fades and your cake just isn't going to rise properly.
Which brings us right to the fourth phase, baking in a pot. This is the ultimate myth-busting technique. You literally do not need an oven to do this.
Just like a standard oven, your stovetop pot needs preheating. Placing your heavy-bottomed pot on a low flame with a little metal stand inside and the lid securely sealed for exactly 10 minutes is a mandatory step. This just ensures that when your batter goes in, it's hitting an environment that's already hot and ready to trigger that crucial rise.
Now, as you place your cake tin into the pot, I have to share a quick, kind of funny moment of genuine narrative tension from the original creator's process. Initially, they beautifully decorated the top of the raw batter with extra nuts before closing the lid to bake. But guess what happened? As the batter heated up and became a bit more liquid before setting, the sheer weight of those toppings caused them to sink completely to the bottom. As the creator noted, quote, all the nuts went inside.
So the crucial point is this insider secret. Do not decorate the top of your cake before you bake it. Seriously, hold off. Instead, let the cake bake totally undisturbed for 30 minutes. Right at the half-hour mark, the top layer of the cake will have become semi-solid. Then you quickly open the lid, carefully arrange your extra Tutti Frutti and nuts on top, and close the lid right back up. Because the top is slightly firm now, the nuts are going to stay beautifully suspended right there on the surface. Baking this way definitely requires a bit of trust and a lot of patience. On a low flame, this heavy, dense fruitcake will take anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes to bake completely. Keep that lid firmly closed so you don't lose the heat. Once you hit the 50-minute mark, you can do a quick check by poking a clean toothpick into the center. If it comes out clean, boom, the heat gets turned off. And just like that, we have reached our fifth and final phase, your spongy plum cake. The masterpiece is fully baked. The reveal here is just so deeply satisfying. Thanks to our carefully cooled caramel, the cake boasts this absolutely perfect, even dark brown color across the top, the bottom, the sides, and as you slice into it, wow. The knife reveals this incredibly soft, spongy crumb that actually springs back when you touch it. Because we loaded up that batter, the cross-section is visually stunning. You're seeing vibrant dots of red, green, and orange tutti frutti, plump raisins, and crunchy nuts embedded securely in every single bite. So, we've seen how simple pantry ingredients, a really smart caramel trick, and a basic stovetop pot can yield a holiday classic that easily rivals any professional bakery out there. Armed with the secrets of the orange juice soak and that genius halfway point decoration trick, you've got absolutely everything you need to pull this off. So I'll leave you with this final, exciting thought. Are you going to skip the crazy bakery lines and try baking this incredible eggless plum cake right in your own kitchen this Christmas? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy baking!